Hello creatures, my name's Chloe. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which I'm filming this video today, and I'd also like to acknowledge elders both past and present. So today is a bit of a rundown on the different writing projects that I've been working on. Some of these I've been working on for a really long time. I do really need to get them done, but I talked about this in one of my more recent videos that I don't really have time right now, and I'm really hoping to make that time next year. But for now, we're going to have to keep going like this, unfortunately. So I have 5 projects that I would consider my major pieces, the ones that I work on the most. And foremost among these is, once again, I keep mentioning it when I say I don't like to mention it, but my honours thesis. That's 15,000 words due on the 25th of October. I'm filming this on the 14th of September, so I've got a little over a month to go and I'm starting to panic, but it'll be fine. That's my big one. That's what's been taking up most of my time for the past year. Once this is out of the way, my fiction will take the forefront again, and it's the fiction that I want to talk about today. So my first one, my big one, that's sort of my beloved problem child is probably the best way I can describe it, is my fantasy series. So I had an idea for these a couple of years ago. I've been working on them for a couple of years and it's gone through a couple of different versions. The number of books has gone up and gone down and gone back up again, and it's really hard. It's really difficult. I'm struggling with it. I'm not struggling with my characters. I've got a really good solid part 1 laid out of, I think it's 11 or 13 chapters just in my first section. And I'm really happy with how that's gone. That whole section is nearly finished. But things kind of come unstuck the further into the book I get, and that's where I'm having trouble. And my world building is still getting there. I think in some ways my history degree makes writing a whole new world a lot more difficult because I know about the nuances that need to go into the politics, the religion, the geography, all of it. And I really struggle, particularly with the religion side of things. The political isn't so bad once I decide what actually fits the world, the particular country I'm working with best. But religion is something that I find it very difficult to sort of create my own version of. It feels kind of wrong to me sometimes. I know that's part of the fun of being a writer, is getting to make up whatever you want, but I have trouble making up one thing that I like and then sticking to it. So something like a religion, which would soak into the entire region regardless of whether someone believed or not, and then adding in different ethnicities into that, can be incredibly difficult. And because I'm trying to make this work have as much depth as possible, so there's not just one nationality that features at the start of my work, there's more. Like, all 3 of my main characters are from different countries within my extended universe, none of which exist in real life, though they are based on different places, so it's been a tad difficult. My primary setting is based on Italy, which, again, I was actually planning on going to Italy at the end of this year. I was going to save up and see if I could afford to go. That's not happening now. So, yeah. So I need to read some more history books on Italy and probably some tourist guides, but my main setting is based on Italy just because it's somewhere that's had a fair bit of mystique for me. Particularly it's influenced by Venice, which I know heaps of people have already written books based on a Venetian type setting, but I really love it and my version is different enough that I think it'll be okay. But this one is super special to me. It's very much a high fantasy story focusing on witches and curses, but also a very unstable political climate in a, I would say, Renaissance-based world with some elements from different eras. So that's the first one, is my high fantasy that's giving me a massive headache. I'm giving this one a little bit of a break at the moment just until I sort of figure out what I need to do, and I think I need to do a research list and really dig in more. I have trouble writing if I don't have all the information I need, and I think that's what's getting me down with this one. So sort of connected to this one is my next piece, which is a novella, and this is kind of weird because it's part of my extended universe, and this has actually been a little bit easier to develop and write because it's got a full outline, but the tone of it has changed a couple of times. Initially it was a romance novella, now it's high fantasy horror romance, which I love. I really love genre mashing, and I think that's the thing. I get too stuck in what it needs to be rather than just what I think it should be. So this one's a bit weird, but I really love it. I only came up with this one this year. It's my fun little back burner project because it's only a novella. I'm setting my word goal at 40,000, much smaller than anything else I work on, really. So it's a lot more comfortable trying to make this stuff up, and it's a lot more fun, and it's helping me sort of establish where my characters need to go in my original story, so that's been really helpful. My 4th project is probably the one that I'm feeling most passionate about at the moment, which again I mentioned in that most recent video, which I'll post up above. This story has been percolating in my head since I was 17. It's a small town fairy YA fantasy with a bit of murder on the side. Super passionate about this one. It's all about moving between adulthood and childhood and finding who you are when that doesn't necessarily fit with what you think you should be or what other people think you should be, but not so much about parental expectation. It's the space between high school and university. It's set the summer between those two things. I love this one. I'm very, very excited about it. It's got a friendship at the centre of it between a girl and a boy that I'm really excited to write. There's also a romance in it, which is not the primary plot, I would say, but it does contribute to it. It's a very quiet sort of romance in what I think is a very quiet story, really. Like, there's exciting elements in it, but I didn't want it to be too loud. I really want to capture that sleepy, small town feel. I'm from a small town, so that kind of energy works really well for me. I like writing it, and I have based parts of it on where I live. I've just sort of changed bits and pieces of it to make it work. But yeah, I'm really excited about this, and this is my NaNoWriMo project for November, which I'm so excited to finally be working on this year. And then my last project is one that I came up with a while ago. I'm also really excited about this one, but I never work on it. It's super small, which is I think part of why I don't work on it, and I don't have the necessary skill set to work on it yet. And by that, I mean it's a webcomic. I can draw, like I'm fairly okay, but I'm nowhere near as good as I was when I was drawing all the time when I was a teenager, and I wasn't good enough to do a webcomic then, so I'm certainly not good enough to do one now. So I want to practice drawing, I want to get better, but I have drafted my first sort of 10 episodes or so. I've come up with ideas for 3 seasons, so 3 years worth of content, and I've written a third of the first one, which really easy because it doesn't take me very long to write. But I really like this one too. This is a bit different. It's much nicer and happier than the rest of my work. I tend to go a little bit dark with my content. Like my lighting right now. I'm so sorry, but I have no control. I've got a light on order finally, so hopefully that will improve things very soon. So the idea for this one, it's a fairy tale universe, but it's not the hero or the princess or any of that. It's a romance of a seamstress and a teacher who live in a small town. It's the kind of town the hero would stop in on his way to fight a war or a battle or something. And then I've just got my little side story, and the idea is there's this initial arc with my characters who I adore, and then I could spin it off into other areas if I wanted, because the world I've built hasn't got that much detail, which honestly I find really soothing given my difficulties with world building. So yeah, I don't know, it's a sweet little story. It's probably my favourite concept I've come up with in a long time, but I really, really love it, and it's good for me to have something happy to work on, I think, when I need to. So yeah, those are my 5 main projects, soon to be 4, hopefully. In the new year, I'm going to come up with an attack plan so I can actually start knocking some work out on these. I think I need to change my tack from working on full-length books to maybe working on the webcomic and practicing drawing more. I think I definitely need to practice drawing more. I might make a video around that or something to keep myself more accountable maybe, but we'll see. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what you think of my various projects. Let me know if you write anything similar, because I really don't have that many writing friends anymore, and I'd really love to have some again. I have my writing group obviously, but there's only a few of us, so it would be really good. Subscribe if you want to, like it if you did, and I will see you soon in my next video.